call me Roy.
Hi, welcome to Roy's Book Reviews. Today I want to talk to you about a novel by an author who never disappoints. At least he has yet to disappoint me. That is Dennis Lehane, and the book in question is Small Mercies. Now my path to this book, which I borrowed from my awesome local library, was a little different than the usual literary discovery. I'm closing in on wrapping up my latest novel, Second Shot. And in preparation for querying literary agents for representation, I went forth in search of comparable titles. By went forth, I mean that I did something for the very first time. I utilized ChatGPT. I happened to find the invasion of artificial intelligence into the waters of creativity to be a worrisome development, so I did not make this decision lightly. AI cannot write a new story or turn brushstrokes into an original painting or any of that good stuff we rely on creative artists for. What AI can do is beg, borrow, and steal. Primarily that last one. It can quickly gather whatever is accessible in its database and spit out an amalgamation, something not so much new as pieced together from pre-existing true artistic endeavors. But I figured that for certain chores, less about imagination and creativity than fast resource gathering, it could be quite useful. So I provided a synopsis of my not yet published novel into ChatGPT and asked it to suggest comp titles. After all, even if I was the world's fastest reader, and I'm definitely not that, I would still have not nearly enough time to read every book that has been published, or every book that's been published in the last year even. I needed a shortcut, which the robot machine in my phone provided. The result of my query was recommendation of some books I was already familiar with. Some books and authors I had never heard of. And in the case of Small Mercies, a novel by an author I very much admire that I had not gotten to yet. If you go check out the backlist of videos here at Roy's Book Reviews, you will find my glowing thoughts and opinions about a few other books by Dennis Lehane. Many of you have likely read his work, or at minimum, you've seen a movie adaptation or two of one of his books by now. Those of you who, like me, have read or seen several Lehane stories will notice certain patterns. The setting is likely to be Boston, Massachusetts, for much, if not the entirety, of the narrative. Prominent characters will be of Irish ancestry. Law enforcement will play a prominent role because a crime in need of solving, criminals in need of catching, will be central to the plot. The time period will vary from book to book, but when set in the past and therefore falling under the umbrella of historical fiction, there will be at least one true event and or figure that's featured. I'm not sure how far back you have to go back to be historical fiction. In the case of Small Mercies, since it's well within my lifetime, it doesn't feel historical, but it's not current or modern quite either. The event serving as launching pad in Small Mercies is the 1974 school segregation crisis that took place in Boston. If an interesting incident occurred in Boston in any time in history, Dennis Lehane either already has or else he eventually will get around to crafting a fictional tale around it. and there's a good chance that someone in his story will end up missing, or dead, or missing until the dead body is found. In Small Mercies, we get both a death of a young black man who is killed either by a train or on the platform and then rolled onto the track, and a young white woman gone missing the same day. Are these two events related to each other? There is a detective determined to solve at least one of the mysteries, if not both, and there is the girl's mother, who happens to work with the mother of the deceased man, but only cares about tracking down her daughter. Possibly dead, but hopefully still alive. And there are representatives of the Irish mob, who would prefer that both matters go away quickly and quietly, because police investigations tend to lead to unwelcome attention on their activities. Plenty of people in the segregated, hardscrabble neighborhoods of Boston are unconcerned with what happened to Augie Williamson. Plenty do not care much about the fate of Mary Pat Fennessy's daughter, Jules. But just about everyone on either side feels strongly one way or another about the desegregation of local public schools that is on the verge of being enforced. Small Mercies is less a mystery than an unfolding. Soon enough, the reader knows that Augie's death was no accident, and Jules was one of the white kids who chased him down. Perhaps he is alive and hiding, but it does not take Mary Pat long to discover that this is probably not the case. That doesn't stop her from searching, and from mercilessly hunting down those she learns are responsible. Look up One Tough Broad in the dictionary, and that is where you'll find Mary Pat Fennessy. The only time she doesn't seem Rambo-level tough is when she tries to offer condolences to Augie's parents and learns that she is not the only one capable of great rage. Small Mercies is a story about race and class and politics and family and the inner life of close-knit communities. It is about the inheritance of bias and intolerance that one can either choose to embrace or reject. It is about the pain of being a parent who outlives her children. It is another great book by the excellent author Dennis Lehane, my new favorite among those authored by him, which comes with my highest recommendation. And yes, I ultimately determined that ChatGPT was on the nose with suggesting Small Mercies as an excellent comp for my novel Second Shot. There's certainly plenty of similarities in themes addressed and explored. So we'll see about the other suggestions. So that covers pretty much everything I have to say about Small Mercies. Other novels of his that I've read are The Given Day, A Drink Before the War, and Live by Night, and also Moonlight Mile. Those are all excellent Dennis Lehane novels that I recommend. And the movies I've seen that are adapted from books of his that I did not read are Shutter Island and Mystic River. Those are both excellent movies. The books I mentioned are all excellent novels. Dennis Lehane is a master of his craft. Hopefully he'll keep them coming. Hopefully other authors will keep providing comps. So wish me the best of luck in my querying. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Until the next time, this is Roy wishing you happy reading.